So it has been 1 year. Much has been learnt by everybody, especially by the Indians. The bigger question today is where do we go from here? How prepared are we? Because the way things are between India and Pakistan, we should be ready for some other misadventure. This is a topic for a professional to comment upon, which is why we have invited today one of the most professional military officers that I know of. Air Marshal retired Asim Suleiman is my guest today, one of the most distinguished officers of the Pakistan Air Force. He has served in all important assignments. He is currently the president of the Center for Aerospace and Security Studies. He is also a regular writer and commentator. And of course, very importantly for today's discussion, he not only is he a graduate of the Combat Commanders School, which we called the Top Gun of Pakistan, he's also an instructor, so obviously an ace pilot. And I want to really draw upon his experience both as a senior commander and as a fighter pilot to figure out where things are going from here. Air Marshal Asim, welcome to our show.
Assalamu alaikum ji, and thank you very much for having me on your program.
Always a pleasure. So it's been 1 year, sir. 1 year since we gave a royal thrashing to the Indian Air Force. And now, after a year, even the Indians are now grudgingly acknowledging, though not publicly, but I know privately they're acknowledging what happened that night when the PAF downed 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know how many Rafales. The bigger question today, of course, we all know what we're very proud of the way that the Pakistan Air Force defeated a far bigger enemy. But the bigger question now today, for me at least, is where do we go from here? Because my point being, Marshal Asim, that we caught them by surprise that night. They didn't realize how well trained we were, how well prepared we were, what kind of fighting multi-domain capabilities we had, how we had invested in improving our Air Force. And they underestimated us, they paid a price for it. Now they know. So where do we go from here, knowing that now we don't have the element of surprise that we did a year ago?
If I would like to take you back in history a little, the legacy of the Pakistan Air Force. Our legacy has been our training, it has been our technology, and it has been our leadership. And because of that, Pakistan Air Force has been performing extremely well against the Indians. 1965 war we did well, 1971 even better kill ratios that we had than the Indians. And to date, if you look back at history, Pakistan Air Force has not lost a single aircraft to Indians since 1971 war. It's a very big achievement. And against this record, the Indians have lost about 5 aircraft to Pakistan. So knowingly that the Pakistan Air Force had an edge over the Indians, what the Indians did was they started to invest in their Air Force. When you look at the budget of Pakistan Armed Forces, it is around 9 to 10 billion. Indian budget is over 90 billion. If you look at the Air Force budget, it's around 1.8 to 2 billion. And when you look at the budget of the Indian Air Force, it is more than 37 billion. So with this kind of money, the Indians were investing very heavily in their technology, they were investing in their aircraft, missiles, and then their air defense systems. So the Indians actually, in my reckoning, had a very little surprise, because they knew that they were facing an enemy who has not lost a single aircraft to them since 1971, and they were well prepared. And this investment which they did really made a lot of difference in 2020 when the Indians inducted the Rafales. Pakistan Air Force lost its first look first shoot capability to the Meteor missile, and now Pakistan did not have that first look first shoot capability also. So the Indians actually went or wanted to go against Pakistan in any skirmish with an upper hand of having a very strong Air Force. But all of these things changed in 2021 when Air Chief Marshal Babar Sidhu took over the Air Force command, and he started to make the or convert the Pakistan Air Force into the next generation Air Force. In that, he introduced multi-domain operations psychology and the architecture, in which we started to have our own indigenously made cyber capability, EW, space, UAVs, and many other capabilities, which gave us a very big advantage over the Indians. So now we go into Markeha. On the 6th and 7th, 2025, May, the Indians, they attacked Pakistan, not knowing what was coming for them. As you said, that it was a very big surprise for them. In that, they actually, if you analyze the situation, the backbone of the Indian Air Force was broken within 1 hour, and they lost 8 aircraft. Out of them, 1 was a drone and 7 aircraft, which included 4 Rafales, 1 MiG-29, Su-30, and Mirage 2000. Having lost a very large number of aircraft within 1 hour was not a joke. It was something earth-shaking, and the Indians really learned their lesson of lifetime. What happened? They grounded their air force. It was down for 48 hours, and now the Indians were not able to attack Pakistan. They were not even coming 300 kilometers near the Pakistan-India border. So this was a kind of limitation the Indians were put into, and which was acknowledged by the Indian leadership also.
But now,
what lesson learned?
I want to move forward and see where do we stand today, and where do they stand today?
Yes. So there were certain lessons learned, and their lessons learned were that first of all, it was the MDO, the multi-domain operations, which were the main factor which caused the surprise for the Indians. So they knew now that for their future, they have to have something like multi-domain operations. Then the other lesson they learned was that there is no space of war for limited war in a nuclear overhang. This is also one of the main lessons which the Indians learned. Then the indigenization. Actually, the Indians have always been talking or propagating Make in India. Actually, Make in India did not deliver. This is one of the biggest lessons that the Indians learned, that their own indigenous homegrown capability was not good enough, or neither their imported technology and modernization was not enough. So this was another lesson which the Indians learned. And then the most important thing is the future is now non-contact warfare. Non-contact warfare
Marshal Asim, let me just quickly jump in here so that we can just focus a little bit more. Excellent points that you've raised. Now, what I really want to know now is that they've learned from the defeat that they got, and they're trying to improve themselves. I'm sure that the weaknesses that they've been able to identify, many of them which you just rightly pointed out, they would be working very hard to somehow overcome them. I don't know how much they can do with this current air chief that they have, because in my personal opinion, after that massive defeat of that night, he should either have been fired or he should have resigned. But anyways, he's still there. So what if they're trying to improve themselves in the last 1 year? I'm sure, in fact, I'm confident that so are we. We are also learning from that night, and I'm sure that we've spent the last 1 year trying to make sure that the performance, the ability, the capability of our Air Force goes even higher than where it was a year ago. So if the next battle happens, we are still far ahead of them despite their improvement. So I'm sure that you could speak a little bit about how we are also constantly improving our capability.
Yes, I will come to that a little later. I wanted you actually, as you interjected, so I was talking about the Indians. The Indians have actually have made a plan, which was last year, towards the end of the year, they made a plan for 2035. The 2035 plan says that they have to integrate all of their capabilities so that they can be integrated and can be used as a one focused force. So that was one plan. And now this year, the Indians have come up with another plan. that is 2047 plan. The 2047 plan says that they are going to have multi-domain operations and capabilities what the Pakistan Air Force had or we had practically demonstrated in 2025. So this is where the Indians are, that they are wanting to integrate themselves for future and get to the capabilities the Pakistanis displayed in 2025. And that plan they have, that they plan to achieve by 2047. So now this is the way the Indians are looking at their future. They are trying to integrate and then they get onto multi-domain operations and perform as the Pakistani Armed Forces did. So this is the future of the Indian Air Force and the Indian Armed Forces. This is what they are looking forward to. Now we come back to Pakistan. When the war finished on the 10th night and we had the ceasefire in May, the Air Chief got down to his drawing board and he started to work on the 13th of May that now the war is over and we have recovered on our sleep in 1 or 2 days, and now we start to plan for the other war. Now what the Pakistan Air Force is doing is that we are looking at the future, and what we are looking for future is that first of all we are trying to enhance all the capabilities. I will not go into details and probably I cannot mention those over here, but I can tell you that if you look at what we did in our multi-domain operations, first of all, we have enhanced our capability for cyber field. I think now we are 2 times or 3 times more well placed as what we were in May 2025. When you look at space, Pakistan as a country and as an Air Force also, we are going to be much more advanced by the end of this year and having our own satellites nationally and within the service also. When you look at EW capability, our EW capability has, I think, quadruplated, and that is a very big plus that we have. Then we have increased the ranges of our UAVs and our drones. So we have that capability also. And then the best thing that has happened to Pakistan Air Force, having a look at what is happening in the Gulf, that the capability to intercept and destroy the UAVs and drones is another field that Pakistan Air Force is venturing into and has successfully ventured actually. So when you look at a complete package for the future, the Air Force is ready. Now coming to the aircraft part of it. Aircraft part of it, we are manufacturing our own aircraft, PFX, the future fighter of the Pakistan Air Force, and we will be able to do extremely well as far as our manufacturing is concerned as compared to the Indians. They have had a history of a failed domestic aviation program. So we have that advantage also. Then we have the J-35, the 5th generation aircraft also coming into the Pakistan Air Force, I think should be by the beginning of next year, which is not very far away. So when you look at the future endeavors that the Pakistan Air Force has, it has a lot of surprises still to come and many capabilities. I'm sorry I'll not be able to share with you, but they are in the pipeline or have been achieved. So I think the Indians still should be keep wondering and should feel scared of us and they should have sleepless nights as far as the preparation of the Pakistan Air Force is concerned. And I can tell you with a lot of confidence that the Air Chief is making all the endeavors to give Indians another surprise. I always keep on joking with my friends that saying that India talks of Sandur to Pakistan Air Force and the Pakistan Armed Forces have the capability of taking, till Sandur 3 or 4 very easily.
That's very good to know, and I'd like to, on this very hopeful note, I'd like to thank you very much, Air Marshal Retired Asim Suleiman, for joining us and sharing your very valuable analysis. I think Pakistanis will be very interested to know and very happy to know that we are ready and we still have so many more surprises with us. Thank you once again for joining.